Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana. This is your weekly weather briefing for Thursday, September 29th. Starting off with the situation overview of what we can expect here for the next 5 to 7 days. We do have a red flag warning in effect for portions of southeast Mississippi. That's going to be in effect until 6 o'clock later this evening. We do have a gale warning and small craft advisories for marine areas. That's due to high winds and increased waves and seas. We'll be monitoring that as some of this should be tapering off into Friday coming up to the weekend. Otherwise, it's real nice weather here, and it's going to be persisting here for the next 5 to 7 days with no rain chances, which is good news for those who don't like rain. And we're monitoring the tropics where we did have Ian that caused significant impacts to Florida. That one's crossing into the Atlantic today and will continue to cause impacts across the coastal southeast Atlantic states. Tropical Depression 11 did develop in the central Atlantic, but both are not a threat for the area. As we just mentioned, there is a red flag warning in effect for portions of southeastern Mississippi. This is in effect through later today. We're not anticipating any additional fire weather concerns after today as conditions do begin to improve and winds begin to lessen some. So just keep in mind to be extra cautious if you're doing any outdoor burning today for these areas, as again, conditions will be improving as we go through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Also, as we mentioned, there is a gale warning in effect. That's mostly for areas to the east of the mouth of the Mississippi, including the Mississippi Sound. This is where some of the winds are a little bit stronger, and we do have some very hazardous seas as well in these areas. So if you have any boating plans here going into tomorrow, waves and seas will be a little bit higher than normal. So keep that in mind and use extreme caution tomorrow. Tomorrow we're just expecting just small craft advisory conditions, but can still be dangerous. And some of these conditions will continue to improve a little bit going into the weekend. But again, just keep an eye on marine conditions if you do have any plans going out on the boat or on the water during this upcoming weekend. Here's a forecast for selected locations through midweek. And as we just mentioned, really nice weather here Friday going into the weekend. If you got weekend plans, beautiful weather with ample sunshine with highs in the low to mid 80s, cool and crisp mornings in the 50s to some areas the 60s, and this will persist even going into early to middle parts of next week as well. We're not really seeing any type of impactful weather here through at least the next 7 days. And the tropical weather outlook, as we mentioned also, with Ian, that's going into the Atlantic, is going to continue to cause impacts across the coastal southeast U.S. locations. Not being a threat to our area, it is not going to be coming towards or impacting our area at all. Tropical Depression 11 did develop in the central Atlantic and is forecast to actually dissipate. And there's no other areas that we will need to be monitoring for the next 5 days. So the tropics will be turning quiet. And just monitor for use caution for burning conditions. If you do plan on burning across southeast Mississippi, but conditions will be improving. Gale warnings and small craft advisories remain for marine areas, and just use caution if boating tomorrow and maybe into parts of this weekend. Otherwise, really nice weather will persist the next 5 to 7 days where we have no rain chances all the way through the next 7 days. And we'll continue to monitor the tropics, but as Ian continues to impact southeast U.S. and Tropical Depression 11 dissipates after those two systems, there's no real big focus here for the next 5 days, so the tropics will be turning quiet. That's all I got with this weather briefing. I hope you have a great rest of the week and a great weekend.